Welcome to Answers from the Universe and the Andronicus transmissions on Wolf Spirit Radio, Ever Beyond Radio, and Studio 9 Jam on YouTube. With your host, Jessica Ariel Morocco, featuring JP as the voice of Andronicus. Please visit www.readingsbyrael.com, that's A-R-A-E-L.
From the future, my way of the past. I bought my ticket for the 15th century. We started moving through a hole in history.
You're listening to Wolf Spirit Radio.
Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining today at Answers from the Universe. And I'm your host, Jessica Ariel Morocco, and here with JP.
Hello.
Hello, JP.
Hello.
Yes, we had a bit of a late start today, and those of you that were listening to the chat room got to hear a little bit of the show from last night on Max Steele's show, talking about Bigfoot, which was kind of an interesting conversation. But anyhow, we're getting back.
I think I've shifted time zones or something. Somebody teleported me from Pacific to Hawaiian or something, and I woke up at about 7 o'clock in the evening. So, many apologies for everybody. My day's been shifting around. I think there's a thing that researchers have found that people actually, if you don't connect them with the sky and the night and the light and day, is they'll actually go to a 25-hour day. Did you know that? That your natural rhythms bring you to a 25-hour day, which, well, in one way is saying, well, this device was designed on another planet that had a different day length, different rotational speed, you see. That's all a day is.
Well, because of this, I was a little concerned, and we were all kind of wondering where you were at. And so there was a few speculations that possibly Meetis might have taken you. Marco. Someone said, I think Vanessa said, haven't you been listening to your own transmissions?
You never know. Balkan might have taken me. I wouldn't remember.
You'd be off planet then, wouldn't you?
Yeah. Well, I'm just looking if there's any, there's no alien pollen on my arms.
Okay. No unusual,
life forms attached.
All right. And check on the back of the neck. Kraton uses that little black stone on the back of the neck.
Oh, yeah. No, that's just as it should be.
Okay. All right. So,
what's this little lump here? No, that's just my bad posture.
Okay. Well, all is well, as long as even if you're the clone, you can still run the show, right?
I am JP's clone. I will run the show. I know how to do these. I was trained in a laboratory and grew in a test tube. Anyway, enough of this tomfoolery. We've got serious stuff to do.
Yes. It's actually very revealing today.
Ooh.
And we were going to have Wild Feather on. I want to bring her on next week. She had some amazing insights about Olivia's beautiful artwork. I mean, Olivia's quite talented. In addition to that inspiration of her writing from last week, if anyone listened to last week's show, you'll hear. I was going to bring Wild Feather on today, but it just doesn't seem to match what the transmission is. I'm really feeling that. I'd like to have a nice discussion with her next week. And so we're going to go into the show today and get rolling here. But I do want to remind everyone that if anyone is interested in taking this beautiful trip to Ireland with a small group of us and looking at some of the spiritual sites, whether you're interested in druids or Vikings or the Fae, all of this will be a very, very pleasant experience. And so please contact me directly if you're interested in doing that. That will be in August 7th through 14th, with Shona Journeys, if you want to look into that further. In addition to that, anything else, JP, that we should bring up, or?
Well, you know, as long as I find my fader. Well, any other business? I'm sure it'll come out. You know, I'm not quite woken up yet. I'm sure. I'll be stimulated to come up with stuff during the show. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, we had a Super Soldiers talk with
oh yes, with James
Rank, and so we were able to play that. And there was another show that was produced this week that if people are interested. JP and James, I don't know if you're going to be cross promoting his show on. He's a podcast that is available.
Well, it's podcasts are good because if I've got something, especially short ones, you know, if somebody does an hour-long show, it's really good because sometimes we slip out, like tonight. So I'm going to need an hour's worth of content to fill between the end of this show and the beginning of Sean's show. So things like that would drop in quite nicely, you know, like an hour-long show. So I do play the occasional podcast because it helps and it fits, and sometimes it's useful as well, you know, interesting stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, it really got pretty wild, this last one. According to Peter, there are some species out there that have 16 genders.
Oh yeah, I made the joke about well, if you've got that many genders, then the words for sex or sexual interaction will be as populous as the number of words that Eskimos have for snow or Scots have for rain. Mm-hmm. You know, there's, you know, it's like, well, I mean, every we're getting a whole bunch of genders these days. There's a whole Baskin-Robbins of 31 different potential genders. Including apathetic, or you know, it's like there's all these things. Yeah, people who, and there's different grades of apathetic. You know, I like to look at females, but I'm not interested. I like to look at males, but I'm not. You know, all sorts of levels of apathy. So these beings with 16 genders, how would did you see any of their reactions?
No, I mean, I was just bending. It was bending my mind. I just couldn't fathom how, you know, the possibility of that. I never considered it, you know. So, you know, procreating, I don't know exactly much of that. So, I mean, who knows? I mean, there's just, there are different species out there. There are even some, you know, they're just different species out there. They operate in different ways. And for survival, procreation, however they do it. But I think it's interesting.
And of course, Vanessa is coming out with 16 genders. Think of how many public bathrooms you'd need, given the current debate.
Right. I mean, you can go on and on. Once you start thinking about this, it just, you know, becomes exponential. I mean, how many different challenges you could have.
Exactly.
I mean, we have trouble with two genders in our, you know, experience. And even, you know, people that are mixed gender, then it brings in, you know, we're having trouble with that thought.
Well, yeah.
Just imagine.
You know, in the traditional Native American, they recognize 4 genders. You know that?
Mm-mm.
There's, and you'll see it. You'll see it immediately. There's masculine male and feminine male, and masculine female and feminine female.
Oh, okay.
So, you know, that's an example of gender, you know, of what a gender might appear to be like. And of course, you know, as I said, we've got 31 different flavors of LGBT. And I think even they've included people who are asphyxiophilic and, you know, all those, you know, weird things that people like in power do. Anyway, perhaps we should, let's stop talking about this.
Yeah.
It's very complex and, you know, could be the subject of several documentaries, I think.
Yeah, or we can bring Peter on and have him discuss what the challenges entail in a situation like that. But that's another day and another time, another bad channel.
Oh, here we are. And I'm sure somebody's going to do a rap to this, but I'm just going to run through them quickly. Gender identity. Bigendered, crossdresser, drag king, drag queen, femme queen, female to male, FTM, gender bender, gender queer, male to female, MTF, non-op, hyra, pangender, transsexual, with two S's, trans person, woman, man, butch, two-spirit, trans, agender, third sex, gender fluid, non-binary, transgender, androgyne, gender gifted, gender blender, femme person of femme person of transgender experience, and of course, androgynous.
Sounds like Andromeda.
Andromedas, yeah. Well, I mean, talking of, there always was a kind of slight hint of a bisexuality with them, or it's just it's like Captain Jack from Torchwood said, you humans with your gender specifications. It's like, why do you have to give it a name? Just enjoy it. Just gorgeous. Enjoy it,
Yeah, absolutely. And so anyhow, the other thing I wanted to bring up too is we're having like this creativity thing that's popping up, and we have the website that started, and someone created some music for the show. Were you able to load that?
Which one was that?
That was, it was like a musical piece that you were supposed to sing to, but just the music piece alone was amazing.
Yeah. Now, what was it? It was the Meetis 20, wasn't it?
I think it was Meetis 20.
Yeah.
And do you remember who created it? Because I thought it was beautiful. Was it Wild Feather?
No. Hang on. I tried to Google search for Meetis 20. No, it wasn't there. Right. Let me just think how I got that. You have to give me a few seconds to think about that. Can we, I might even have it, in my music collection, but
if it's in your queue somewhere, I'm looking to see. It might even be in some of our.
That part of me is still asleep.
Yeah. You know what we can do? Maybe during an in between break,
do it.
Put the music in. So if you want, let's get started, and we're going to begin with Rhodan's message.
Oh, Vanessa's just dropped it in the chat room for me.
Oh, awesome! Thank you, Vanessa.
They're all brilliant. Much better than we are. Oh, well, I don't know.
I know, they were so helpful.
Come on. There we go. You can't hear it. There we go. Right, so I'll put that on pause, where the pause button is.
Beautiful. So this is Meetis number, what is it called?
20.
Meetis 22?
20.
Or Meetis 20.
Yeah, so I'll drop that in a little while we're doing.
And that's called 20 because it matches the it's supposed to match the lyrics for that song. Okay.
Yes. Yeah.
Of the 20th transmission. Of Meetis.
The Book of Meetis, verse 5, chapter 6. It's getting like that, it's really getting like that.
Yeah.
Okay. Error in service runs, right. So, shall we get down to Rhodan? The light from above paves our path. We are all in an endless motion of light. Your heart is not pure or full of sorrow if it appears dull at all. The stars were meant to guide the path by night and the sun by day. And yet you wonder if this was an accident, a mere incident of happenstance. The planets were not randomly thrown into orbit, but placed gently amongst a perfect balance of light, sound and substance of energy you regard as magnetism. Only one tone, and we launch mighty fields of dense stones and powerful substances. All things are set in an order or alignment according to what is good. It is a dance of motion set by motion. If we make it still, it remains still. Within peace there is sound. Sound always exists. Without sound, nothing exists, and nothing exists apart from sound. The essence aligns with the tone or vibration. You are here now, and you are elsewhere simultaneously. Nothing is loud across the partition. The partition is broken, then the left. If the partition is broken, then the left seeps into the right. The dimensions cross over, and there is chaos. It is not intended to keep you from knowing what's on the other side. It is preventing the realities from blending. Within each reality is a balance in so many ways that humans can hardly imagine. By the time you understand the role of laws of balance and harmony, you will uncover many experiences of chaos in its contrast. Listen, this is to help, not in an air of condescension. We are revealing the purposes and the laws to mankind so they may understand the makeup of the foundations and basic structure of their realities, and those parallel and juxtaposed to your present. Parallel and juxtaposed to your present position. I am pleased to see that some have a listening ear to hear, that there are an abundance of those who choose to learn. It is the greatest quest of the soul to understand your connection to Source and all living things around you. Some may graduate to greater experiences of a fantastic magnitude of vision and fantasy. You dream because we dream. You are an aspect of us. We are as you in some ways, not all. It is our emotion, our quest for life, our curiosity, our blending of experiences, our passion and simplicity, all rolled into one. We are, you are, and we are all one. We are all a multifaceted form of love. Sounds slightly juxtaposed. So there you go. So, Rhodan, this is how the universe works, folks.
Yeah.
Does that mean they're retiring?
No.
Leaving us to it, Oh, there's the book. Go, bye.
You know I worry about things. I worry about the timelines, the earth, wellness or dis-ease, the lack of harmony amongst people and wars, the greed that feeds the wars and the sorrow of poverty, lack of food and the planet that is weary of reaping a healthy harvest. I am concerned about the man-made machines that harm the planet like Scalar, CERN, HARP, and many others. I don't know about. There is so much more that I cannot speak of that I know. What about the species who have come here uninvited and manipulate humankind? What about the species who were already here, who have oppressed humankind since the beginning of time? Why is it that the benevolent species seem to not have any power to balance this injustice upon a naive humanity, or awakened humanity calls upon the heavens for justice and relief of these oppressive species who have orchestrated a system of oppression, who make humankind suffer in a lack with hard work and barely enough to sustain themselves? There is so much more.
I'm not quite sure what you're reading from.
You didn't see it? It's from the second page.
Oh, is it?
Yes.
Oh. Hang on. Oh, I see. There is so much more. Yes.
I know, because you stopped it. I was like, wait a minute. All right, go ahead.
Oh, that's a page. Right, I see. All right. Okay. Sorry, back in character. This is a unique time unlike any other. It is a crossroads for many species, including humanity. They are all interconnecting and blending in such a way that you are all learning about one another. We will not be introducing any new species. All are present at this time. There will not be any new species created. We are allowing some mixing through hybridization, and this will sustain life in the future. The hybrids become mighty protectors, having the resilience and logic like never before, yet a kinship to humanity, as well as other species. Some of the reptilians blend properly with other species. They will soon vanish from the planet without a trace of existence or trail leading to where they went. They cannot be returned through any method, including time travel. It will be as if there isn't a trace of their existence. They will, in time, fall under the category of lore. Humans will question if they ever existed.
Is this the reason why some of the many species mentioned in mythology disappeared? They no longer had a purpose here?
Yes, some interfered or caused an unnecessary distraction. For example, the dragons, though mighty and majestic, became the leveraging power of some tribes. The tribes relied too much on their power, and some still do rely on their energy to keep them in power. This creates an unnatural imbalance. They are aware that they were not to be partial or interfere with consciousness and awareness of self-discovery and truth with humanity. They have been found guilty of such a violation, and they too will have their abilities removed if they continue to interfere with the destiny of humans and the planets where they reside on, including Earth. Unlike some of the unreasonable reptilian species, the dragon families have wisdom. We will discuss their future options. None will be harmed at this time unless they continue to rebel and defy what is right. I have come to set things in order, and this is what I will do. I can hear the prayers of humanity, and my heart is open to the whispers of their hearts. Much shall be elevated from their minds as threads of control upon the grids of the realities will be absent. Absence is what will be the freeing factor to their minds. Pain will be lifted from the vibration of control and power. The new world order does not have to be your reality. Shut down the voices of control with your minds. It will neutralize their spell of control. You have the power to stop it. Take your birthright back. Shut down CERN in your minds. Shut down Scalar and HARP in your minds. Be free of their system. They only have power if you give it to them.
Then why do they exist? How did this happen in the first place?
It is because humanity didn't want to think for themselves. They didn't want to make choices or have purpose. I know many will be upset by this statement. Even some were put off by what Danya said regarding humans not taking responsibility for what they know and thereby not being able to utilize more of their brain capacity. It's very simple. Technology is used to assist, not to harm. The misuse of technology creates a stifling effect. It hinders growth. It creates wrong energy vibrations. It creates a multi-entanglement of AI in the auric field. The energy then returns to the abusers in multi-signal waves of distress. Thus the struggles of inventors who wield their knowledge without reverence from whence it came, and so also a burning to all who invent wickedness upon their minds to harm the innocents with a gift of knowledge sent particularly to help others. They then turn it into a weapon of malice. I won't forgive such deeds. It will require some time of learning in the afterlife, or for one to see the horror of what they have done. You asked me to answer your questions. I answered you with truth. Some dislike my manner and ways of thinking. Let them rule their own planet, and then discover what misery it is to have ongoing chaos and pain, unrest and sorrow without remedy. Then consider my words and how I view things. See it all from my perspective, and you will know what it is to care for everyone, yet the need to partition some from hurting themselves and others. It is a dance between the flames. In any case, it is easy to feel the burn of the flame with every decision made. I must carry on. There is much to do. I will always find time to speak with you. You are all my love. You are all my dream. Rhodan. There we go. There's the right place.
He was supposed to be the Thunderbolt, wasn't he?
Wasn't he? Oh. Wait, look.
I think you need some...
We're going to have a meeting. We need a meeting. A committee meeting.
Meetis meeting. Meetis is not fun today, and he's not singing today.
Oh, no songs, no fun.
No songs, no. We go through a whole big labyrinth affair.
Oh, wow.
So next? Oh.
It was Tahnak.
Tahnak, yeah. All right, so he came through a portal of Max's, and Max says, "Oh, you have a new one to channel." And he said that to me before. There's been a few that kind of came through, but I didn't really connect with them. But this time I did. I connected with him last night, and so I thought, well, all right, let's see what he has to say, and well, you will find out.
Standard orbit. I came to your planet long ago when nothing but destruction... Sounds like Meetis, no. How do you speak, slow or fast?
Make him German because he sounded a little German.
A little German, okay. I came to your planet long ago when nothing but destruction and forces beyond... This is terrible German accent, but that's my German accent anyway, so... Okay. I don't care. You should listen to the...
Whatever you feel flowing from you, just go with it.
Yeah. You should hear the Glock. I read out Die Glocke, which involved German characters, and it's terrible. Anyway... one day I'll maybe have some acting lessons.
Maybe we should have had Nikki do this piece.
All right, so here we go. A bit more growly move. German, where's German? German.
Yeah, little guttural.
Up here. I came to your planet long ago when nothing but destruction and forces beyond measure tugged and pulled upon the land masses of water. I beheld a firestorm and an ascending being of brilliant light and stature. When he came, the planet shook to its core, and I watched fire rise up from the core, light a molten explosion as if the planet was bringing forth something from its womb as in the agony of childbirthing. I peered upon his mighty form, blackened by the sun, burnished red and black with brilliant sparks of fire floating from him with dashes of ashen powder floating beyond him. I thought, what manner of being is this, so mighty in form like a wall of fortitude that would cause any sensible challenger to refrain? I took a breath, and then he summoned all living beings to arise and bow to him. His countenance was less than benevolent. One by one, all matter of beasts rose up from the core. One was more hideous than the next. They all began to swoon, worship their mighty master, and collapse as if they had an influx of unseen ecstasy. Then they lay motionless, merely humming in unison, a sound that was unimaginable. A vapor then rose up of the cinders of the color purple. It swirled and moved up and coiled like a rope braided and large. Atop of the rope was the one you call Zamfir, suspended and hovering above the rest. Zamfir, dressed in the most elegant array of silks and woven threads of intricate pattern, a vest of pure malleable gold and pants of the jinn, with shoes upturned in brilliant gold and silver coiling flowerets. His legs were folded as a yogi. His eyes, once purple, had turned to a fiery red. His hands had many rings upon it, each representing the many kingdoms he owned. His hair was black like a raven and moved and flowed like a whispery candle. On the top of his head was a turban, neatly tucked, pure white, facing the sun, and in the center above his forehead was a red firestone that appeared to be as a lens of his third eye. In a motion, so slow that moved time as I heard all time stop, he lifted his right hand and pointed a finger, and shot a flame of a laser upon the mighty being you know as Kraton. Dare I go on to reveal the hidden history of chaos and chaos on this planet? You may not be ready to hear the truth.
But wait, I hardly know who you are. I just met you, and you said that you were from the constellation of a Sagittarius. How would I know that you're even telling the truth? I want to know what happens, but we will all want to know what happened.
This began only a few days ago in your time, 6/6/2016, and the war had ended yesterday when I arrived into your timeline to tell you. The clocks all align for the first time, joining all timelines together as a cross-section that locked each timeline into a fixed point that will create a natural separation going forward. Before this time, they were floating parallel to one another. It will prevent some of the beings from hopping timelines and interfering with destinies and purposes of the innocent species, such as yourself.
Well, I have so many questions, but I don't really want to get off track. Please tell me how the story ends. I know this is a huge impact upon our reality at this time.
It does. My arrival was to find the right person who could share the message to allow everyone to know how things had turned. Keep in mind, since you are the messenger, they also see you as being a part of this experience.
I suppose that is not good.
In some ways, it is very good for you. You stopped something very bad from happening by communicating with Kraton. On the other hand, there is a debt that must be fulfilled or there will be repercussions.
Okay, please just tell me what happened.
Zamfir floated in power and might, having the elements at his fingertips just like his father. The laser hit Kraton in the left eye. Blackness poured out of Kraton's black eye and enveloped Zamfir, and he was covered in a cloud of grey smoke. He was cut from the top of his head to the bottom of his core, splitting him in half.
Did it kill him? I thought he was an eternal being.
No, but it almost killed you. You are his twin.
I was told I was not the same. The image of smoke and injury existed, and I didn't know where or how it happened to me. My experience was from ages ago in a war between Zamfir and Kraton. I'm feeling really dizzy right now.
I'm not sure if you're his true twin, but had aligned you as his twin. Maybe to protect himself so they would refrain from hurting him, knowing it would affect you.
Was Kraton aware of this? Did he know that I would get hurt?
I don't think so. A shadow of you fell from Zamfir in a white gown. It appeared that you were dead. He, Kraton, levitated you from the ground and drew you into his right hand and held you there for a moment. Then revived you. You barely filled his hand, he was so large compared to you. He seemed confused and then studied Zamfir. Then a mighty wind came. The ashen sky turned red and yellow as the sun. A voice of incredible power reached down and lifted Zamfir up into the sun.
Was it Shiva?
Yes, he was weeping for his son. Not so much that he couldn't fix him, but that he had been in rebellion for so long that he had not seen him. A father of love missing his wayward son. I sought the sky and all the foundations would burst open and all of us would be destroyed. It felt like everything that he was feeling required all his strength to withhold his pain. Things began to quake in a storm like you have never seen. It was the most frightening thing I had ever beheld. Zamfir was most favored by his father, having much of his likeness and expression. He allowed Kraton to pull him from the earth. He allowed him to cut him asunder. He allowed you to be cut with him so you would later help him heal. It didn't affect you in the same way. I can see that it was merely your auric field that was injured, and now it is getting much better in time.
Recently, at one time I reached out to Shiva. I felt something was strange, out of the ordinary. The energy seemed odd.
It was all very bad for a while. The clocks are still moving rapidly. Something is wrong in the core of time yet. We know about the tear and others tampering with it. It is really the emotions of Shiva. He holds the hands of time in his pocket. It is done now. Zamfir no longer rules the darkness of the inner earth. He no longer reigns over darker planets throughout the universe. He is now with his father, and it may be tumultuous while they could discuss their differences. I should know. I have seen the crust form around the earth. My lineage is very old. Humanity is very young in comparison. I am the messenger. I am the messenger for Shiva.
Thank you for telling me the story. I weep for all of them, including myself. This has been a long and confusing journey.
And so it has been for all of us. Tahnak. Yeah, and the dog agrees. So, there's nothing I missed there, is there?
No.
No. So, tell me what happened. What was your experience of that? You know, because hang on.
I was in tears. The whole thing was startling. He brought me into this place. You could see it was like the planet before anything was here, and it was kind of that image that they show where there's kind of volcanic stuff going on, and everything just looked like it was not fully formed on the planet. And then Kraton arrived, and what he did was essentially pull all the power from Zamfir, all of those that were working for him, and he had the power to lure them all in, which he did. And this was, I think, coordinated with Shiva to get Zamfir to just stop. He just wouldn't listen to anybody. It's been going on for so long. And so this is back early in time. But I don't know how the whole thing converts. Like, how does it happen back in time and why we're still having the problem now? But it's almost like they went back and changed something. And so Tahnak was there probably with others and as a witness. And he saw, as he described, he could see, this large Kraton standing there and challenging Zamfir. Zamfir came up like, he almost looked like one of those Hindu, yogis, like rising up from this large smoke, rope. It looks like a rope, and he was like hovering right above the rope. And in the lotus position, or the yogi position, legs across. And he had a white turban on his head with a red stone there. And his clothes were very elegant, very beautiful. And his eyes turned to red, and with his right hand, he points at Kraton and to, banish him or fight with him for crossing over and trying to take over his planet. And instead, Kraton's barely harmed by it, and then actually severs Zamfir. And I was watching the whole thing, and then I realized that I was somehow connected to him, and then pulled over, and then Kraton levitated me and drew me into his hand and tried to revive me.
So you were watching as a third party on this?
Yeah.
Or you were watching from your own perspective,
Yeah, yep. And saw that I was entangled with Zamfir. And he called me the twin because he didn't know what else, I don't think I'm a twin, but he didn't know what else to call me because he saw that I was connected, but then with the injury that happened. But someone had informed me recently that that I had this injury, and I had asked to, the exact same injury that Zamfir got, I got. It was, it looked like I had a deep cut, a wound in my auric field, and there was a smoke cloud around me. And I thought I got some kind of serious psychic attack that was trying to, this actually happened this past week. Someone said, you're not the same. You have some really serious damage and we need to send someone to help you. And I said, well, I don't know, I feel fine. They said, well, you might feel fine now, but it's in your auric field. But if it goes any deeper, then it's going to be a problem. And I was thinking, who could it be so powerful to do something like that? And so with my request to find out what happened, then this is a story that they gave me of how it happened. And at this point, Tahnak arrived through the portal. Max has a portal. And that's the information that I got. The other part that was interesting is the date. And so Kraton having the date, was it 6/6/16?
Well, yeah, that was funny because on Monday is 6/6/16. I was doing a show with Sean, and he was like, "Oh, get me Carmina Burana and Tubular Bells, let's play the Omen and the Exorcist tunes and stuff like that." So we had a 6/6/6 theme on Monday, yeah.
Yeah, of course, there's been a lot of hints to 666, and people have talked about that, and it's not like it's a new concept or that we're bringing up, and all right, so it's a coincidence. It's like Friday the 13th showing up, and then something weird happens. It was similar to that. I completely forgot about it, but when they started talking to me about it, and they gave me the date, and I was like, oh my god. So this actually took place on 6/6/16 in alignment with our timeline. And then, it's sort of, a few days had passed, and then at that point, Tahnak came up and was looking for someone to tell the story about what happened.
All right. So he looked in the Galactic Yellow Pages, and Ariel, she'll do.
I think he just came up through the portal. I happen to be there.
Just hanging out.
Yeah, well, Max connected with someone else, and he said, well, this one was there, and he gave me his name, and I said, oh, okay. And then I had a glimpse of this other one, and I said, well, that one looks familiar. So I started talking to him, and then this is, like I said, this is the information that came up.
Cool, right.
So, yeah, and another thing, too, I think it was yesterday or the day before that I was driving down the street, and someone had a license plate 666.
Ah, really?
Yeah.
Well,
of course, there were other letters afterwards, but, not to have fear, but maybe if we look at this incident and say, all right, and I know that some people feel that this is fictitious or my imagination or whatever, but for those that have been following everything and see kind of, a lot of these synchronicities and everything, is it possible that this whole thing that was predicted in the Bible, this end times or whatever, doesn't necessarily mean that all of it's going to take place in our dimension?
Exactly, really because when John is looking at seeing the revelation, he's seeing all sorts of scenes, and presumably the same process is happening for you as is happening for him. He's seeing things presented to him. He's being taken psychically to places,
right,
to witness things. And, like you say, it doesn't necessarily all have to be on the surface of the planet, because you're talking about here, Zamfir's subterranean network. The labyrinths of hell, literally.
It was. Yeah, absolutely. All different types of creatures, and then Kraton sort of took control over them. You can see he had the same type of charm to be able to lure them in.
Did he kind of reabsorb them? Is this the process that was going on, that he reabsorbed all these creatures somehow? So that all the evil is focused into one place, and then they can just lift him off?
Kraton is more an element of control, and I always thought Borkum was going to take this role, but he didn't. Kraton is the one that's very much into structure in the foundations, and seems to have been around a long period of time, and is very, very much a part of the woodwork. That's the best way I could say it. And being equated with time, which was Shiva, seems to be one and the same with the master of time. And when he saw his son, he was devastated. Not that he was worried that his son was gone, because he's eternal, but the fact that they had been separated for so long was I cried when I kind of went through that whole experience, and then he lifted him. But what Tahnak said is that at some point he felt just the emotions alone of Shiva was going to break down all the barriers of our dimensions, of our matrices.
Kind of like bursting a blood vessel of
yes.
of such,
yeah.
inner pressure. Yeah. You can, like you see when people are so upset that their veins are standing out. There's so much pressure inside them.
Yeah, so he was, so distraught and lifted him very gently and I was lifted and so, by Kraton. And, so Zamfir was whisked away and then, here we have Tahnak as the witness and then Kraton. So the next conversation is with, I thought, let me talk to Kraton now and see what he has to say.
All right. Well, look, we're at the top of the hour, so we'll do that after the break, I think. But I just got a couple of things to talk about. All right. So 6. Everybody thinks, 666, because it was, it's in the Book of Revelation that it's demonized. The number 6 is demonized, especially if you've got 3 of them. But just look at what I mean, because he did talk about this, and he says, picture a clock in front of your face. Look at 6 o'clock. Just imagine 6 o'clock in front of you. You're looking at that time. The hands are. It's the only time in the day when the hands are. It's the only o'clock where the hands are directly opposite each other.
Oh yeah, it's below, right? Below the 12.
It's a direct opposition.
Yep.
Yeah. And I suppose, squares are 3 and 9, and an opposition is 6. Mm-hmm. There is another secret to the universe then, because that's the secret of 369. Remember, Tesla says, if only you know the secret of 369. There you have it. On the Andronicus
I know.
Answers for the universe. What's the answer? It's 6 o'clock. Think of a clock. It's all about clock. It's all about the circle, the clock face, time. Yeah. 6s, all about time, 12s. So of course, guess whose social security number ends in 666? Okay, go. Yeah, so, there we go. All right. And Satire's Quest, I have 666 in my driver's license. I carry this in my marker, Viking 666. All right. So, everybody's, see, it's not a bad thing. That's the thing.
It's a point in time. It's just, it's a part of time or it's a shift. In this case, it looks like something has happened. It's an end of an era.
It's also 6 o'clock divides the 2 hemispheres. There's a funny thing about 6 o'clock. I remember 6 o'clock used to be dinner time when I was a kid. Mm-hmm. So I was always looking forward to that bit. So, 6 o'clock, and the form of the hands. I'm just picturing the form of the hands like, it's because any other time, 2:45 or something like that. It's not exactly. They're not exactly in a line. Because it's slightly off from 3 and from 9. But if it's 6 o'clock, I don't know if I'm just babbling, but when at 6 o'clock the hands are exactly pointing to the nodes, to the points of the pentagram. Anyway, I'll shut up. Let's put some music on.
We're going to put that music on that was created by.
Indeed.
Who is it? Who is it that I want to give credit?
I would like to give credit to. See if you can.
Vanessa, maybe.
Yeah, Vanessa.
Vanessa knows.
I'll just go to the. Well, it's here already. So, Angel Gonzalez is his ID. It's Red Pill 33.
Oh yes, thank you so much, Red Pill. Thank you, Angel.
So I'm gonna press the button here so that you can hear it as well. So. Yeah.
Awesome.
It's summer and all is pure. I open hither the flowering door. My rope of many twisting threads pull back the window where nothing ends. I slip through the cracks. I bound through the door. I am free at last. When I wake, imprisoned no more. Sing now, says the sparrow. Float now, says the hawk. Climb higher, says the eagle. Hoot owl through the dark.
Okay, very good. That's awesome.
Not exactly a break time tune, because
you didn't get a break.
I didn't get a break. But there you go. That's sort of how they fill in. Oh, hang on, it's still going somewhere. Hang on. Oh man, I have about. There we go. Shh, 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 shh. Stop. That's like earlier version. Took a little while to stop there. All right. So there was Meetis' song. Maybe I should play another song just for a couple of very short ones, so I can go and visit the little boys' room and not explode like Zamfir.
They call it the loo. Yeah.
I'm sorry.
What's the term for it? The loo?
The loo. Go to the loo. Yeah.
Okay.
Down the loo. All right. Here's another little thing with me on it. It's just for everybody's entertainment. Welcome to the Bogus Psychiatric Helpline. If you are obsessive compulsive, please press 1 repeatedly. If you are codependent, please ask someone else to press 2. If you have multiple personalities, please press 3, 4, 5, and 6. If you are paranoid delusional, we know who you are and what you want. Just stay on the line so we can trace the call. If you are schizophrenic, listen carefully, and a little voice in your head will tell you which number to press. If you're manic depressive, it doesn't matter which number you press. No one will answer. If you're delusional, press 7 and your call will be transferred to the mothership. If you're delusional and occasionally hallucinate, please be aware that the thing you're holding on the side of your head is alive and about to bite off your ear. If you're dyslexic, press 96966996699996. If you have a nervous disorder, please fidget with the hash key until a representative comes on the line. If you have amnesia, press 8 and state your name, address, phone number, date of birth, social security number, and your mother's maiden name. If you have post-traumatic stress disorder, slowly and carefully press 000. If you have bipolar disorder, please leave a message after the beep, or before the beep, or after the beep. Please wait for the beep. If you have short-term memory loss, press 9. 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 If you're a manic depressive, scream incoherently into the receiver while flapping your arms and doodling furiously at the mercy of your creative genius. Then lapse into a semi-conscious leaden coma and ponder how all of life is an exercise in futility. Repeat. Continue repeating. Forever. If you have ADHD, press, ooh, what's that? Shiny. If you're clinically depressed, just go off yourself now and save a low-paid worker in India the trouble of dealing with your whiny crap. If you have a self-esteem problem, don't waste your time, just hang up now.
Well, hello everyone. So we are here, and that was a great little piece that JP left us with. I was just trying to figure out which one or how many of them how many I related to, as Olivia said, shiny. And any number beginning with all the zeros, all the sixes, all the 900, and all that has a middle O, or sounds or ends in O's, will never be a valid social security number. Thanks. This is from the chat room from TJ Madge. Very, very funny. Very funny. So anyhow, getting back to, we're going to probably be reading through, Kraton next. And,
okay.
Oh, that was a great piece, JP.
It was something I did a few years ago.
Somehow it fits with everything we're doing.
Yeah, I haven't played it for a long time. It's on my my SoundCloud, all that stuff. But again, it was just a little filler. It was something that was going around the internet for years and years and years. I mean, even like I'm not kidding. These words have been doing the rounds since the 1980s. Mm-hmm. You know, I came across them in the 1980s, and I gathered them all together. When was it? About 2000. And then I read it out in about 2012 or something like that. Finally got around to doing it. But I heard somebody do another version of it, and it was rubbish. It was really badly done, so I thought, I've really got to do a better version of it. So I did that. And in my normal way, I just kind of read it out, and then I found a piece of music that was exactly the same length, and I just threw it on together. I just threw them together, and it just seems to be perfect. That I was as if I was talking according to the music, but I wasn't. It was just the completely random connections. So there we go. I like to do that. I like to kind of throw things together randomly to see if they kind of randomly fit together. Mm-hmm. I don't know. Must be like early geography when I was thinking, oh, Africa and America fit together, don't they? Things fit together.
It worked. I will say that it worked, definitely. Let's see. The few people were commenting on it. They had their birth certificate stuff and or anything beginning with the social security number. And Olivia said it was something shiny.
Something shiny. Yep. Yeah, that's right. They first in a news group. That was the news group. Yeah. Exactly. So, give me a second. Do you want to introduce what's coming up?
Well, it's kind of, all right. So after this whole thing transpires, and I'm looking at, all right, here's Kraton, here's Zamfir. Typically I don't talk a lot to Zamfir for obvious reasons. He was, doing all sorts of things. And not to say that he's entirely bad. Like I said, there's no such thing. It's, as Viking always says, it's a paradigm, It's an expression, and we often fluctuate. We can go either way, and even in one sentence if we wanted. Zamfir was just, had his own expressions, and there were times when he would kind of come forward. But meanwhile, I've been talking to Kraton, and Kraton, as you remember, has these many layers of dark energy that he has been absorbing over time. Because the dark energy just didn't know where to go, and he was holding the energy so that it wouldn't be kind of infiltrating everything, helping everything maintain a balance. Because if you know that, when things start to, the darkness starts to collapse, you have those black stars, or you have those black holes, and everything becomes highly dense and then pulls everything back in, starts absorbing the light, trying to create that balance again. So anyhow, JP, are you back yet?
Yeah. Sorry, my neighbor came in and he said he's got some questions about LED lights and we'll talk later. And I've just made myself a cup of a cafetiere of coffee. Yeah, let's just get some nice sound effects. Here we go.
Yeah. Did you know that the Emerthers like black English tea?
Black tea.
They like English black tea. Yep.
Well, some people have got taste, eh? Maybe.
And
Do they harvest it? Do they grow it for themselves?
no, but they seem to require it. They expect. I mean, they're very funny.
They expect a cup of tea when they come round.
Yeah.
This is a lovely cup of coffee. I don't know if you could hear that coffee, you could hear how nice it is. It is just love. You know how the best kind of so coffee is a balance of things that you just have to catch at the right time. You know, not too bitter, not too milky. You know, not too this, not too that. And this is just perfection.
Well, I've got my little hippie beverage right now. I got the kombucha.
Oh, you got kombucha?
Ginger.
Wow.
Yeah. Drinking some kombucha by Organics Live by Reeds, I guess.
You hang around health food shops, don't you?
I love that stuff. I really do. I just feel happy, and I have my favorite vegetarian place to go to, and I'm not 100% vegetarian, but I can appreciate a good place where there's nice green juices and all sorts of super healthy stuff. I love the energy I have afterwards, so.
Excellent. Listen, also, we have Sunny. Sunny! Oh, I wish I could sing that. I'm gonna bring him in. Do you know who Sunny is?
No.
Sunny, lives in, England, in London, in west of London. And he's a fantastic artist. A really, really talented young man. And, I'm just bringing him in. He called in earlier, because, we were talking about doing some artwork for the shows, and I was, and actually, I don't know, he's not answering now.
Oh. Was Sunny interested in doing the illustrations of our characters?
Possibly. Sunny, are you there?
I am here.
Good afternoon. How are you doing?
Hi, JP. I'm very well, thank you. And yourself?
I'm very, very well. Jessica, this is Sunny. Sunny, this is Jessica.
Hi, Jessica.
Hello, Sunny. How are you?
I'm fine, thanks. And yourself?
Good. Where are you from?
I'm from London, UK.
From London? Okay. And you're an artist?
Pardon?
You are an artist? That's what JP says.
Oh, yeah. I guess you could call me an artist.
Don't be shy, Sonny. Come on. No, you're just being shy here. Come on. Take a breath. We're all family here. It's okay. So if you look at, Haggy Shack's, banners and stuff like that, this is Sonny's work. He's been drawing these beautiful, lush wolves, and, landscapes and, so have you heard Andronicus, transmissions much, Sonny?
Yeah, I have. I do listen to, I don't have time normally to listen to it live, so what I tend to do is just play it, the recordings while I'm just working.
Cool. So you're drawing and it's the background and you're kind of, so somewhere subconsciously these things would slip across because you're obviously working in your right brain and your left brain is listening to the things and sort of sending messages, sending a few texts to your right brain. Is that how it's working?
I guess so.
Well, Sonny, we've been looking for someone that wants to take on the help us to bring some of these beings to life in a form of art. I don't know if you are open to that, but let us know if you would ever consider.
I am open to that. I'm actually just working on Emily Norcross's promo at the moment. So once I've got that through and she's happy with it, I'll be happy to start with the next one.
Excellent.
Okay.
Excellent.
Thank
That's
you
really
so
good.
much. Yeah. And maybe we can, like I said, we'll get some artwork up, and when we put our website together, we'll have people be able to express and share some of the things that they're created, just like the music and the artwork and other things. Kind of create a forum for everyone.
Yeah, well, we've already got things set up. I hope that the last couple of years I've been perspicacious enough to set up the appropriate sort of departments, as it were. Like you've noticed, Sonny, that I gave you the admin for that, but Sonny's now in charge of art.wolfspiritradio.com, and you will see if you go to art.wolfspiritradio.com. I think you can also go wolfspiritradio.com/art, we can work on that. Domains are not a problem. So you can go there, and so eventually I hope actually to have something like books.wolfspiritradio or wolfspirit.books, wolfspirit.tv, wolfspirit.radio as we are, Wolfspirit. What do you call it? Graphics, everything, because it seems to be a common denominator that people catch on to the symbol of the wolf.
Mm-hmm.
So
I'm trying to look that up. Maybe you can send a link and put it into the chat room.
Yeah, that is true about what you said about the wolf, because even in I don't know if any listening has actually watched Game of Thrones, but even the first 2 seasons, especially, they made the wolf in their show. They had three dire wolves, which are like 9, 10.
Sonny, can you speak closer to the mic a bit, mate?
That protected me. Oh, sorry. In Game of Thrones, they have three wolves that protect a particular family in the story, and so even people my age and younger, they tend to, I think, have like a resonant connection to wolves. I was just agreeing with what JP said.
Excellent. Listen, Sonny, we need to get on with we got about 4 more readings just now, but it's lovely to bring you in, and I just want to say hello to everybody on YouTube. Hi, everybody on YouTube.
Yes.
Yeah, don't forget, because we imagined that we're just listening to we're just talking to about 10, 15 people on Wolf Spirit Radio, but we're not. We're talking to like 500, 600 people who are listening to this, on the YouTube archive. So hello to everybody. By the way, I'm too busy to read all the comments. The comments are just for you guys. Don't try and send us messages. I have an email for that.
Send me the messages instead of JP.
Yeah.
I'd love to read them, and when I have the time, I take a look, and I do look at YouTube. So feel free to write anything you want to do, put in there. But also keep in mind, we're going to create a website so that it will be a little bit easier for us to all kind of, input information and share.
Yeah, I'm kind of trying to find a format that works, that I can install into the site, so that there's like a player for the show, there's like a transcript for the show, there's like a discussion group about the show and that connects with each show, and I'm not sure if a forum or maybe something like Facebook, where people understand how Facebook works. It's very easy to make it work. So if we can make something that works kind of easily like Facebook for doing this kind of thing, and it's all about styling, really, making it look nice. Mainly, everything just does the same thing. It just looks different. Okay.
Well, thank you for joining us, Sonny, and we'll have you on again sometime. So just say hello to.
All right.
Have a great day.
Bless your heart.
I'll be in touch, JP.
God bless. Thank you very much. Super Sunny. There we go. On his avatar, he's standing there with his girlfriend. He's got like a Superman logo on his black T-shirt and the Superman logo on his blue jacket. Very good.
Cool. Yeah. Amazing.
So, shall we return to our
So,
previous...
Here's another synchronicity, JP. I couldn't have planned this. Look at the number of Kraton.
Number 9.
It's Kraton show his 6th transmission.
Back
to number 6 again.
Number 6. I mean,
I didn't plan
Hey, I wonder what
all.
number 6 sounds like backwards. Yeah, let's do that. All right.
Ready?
Yes.
Oh, where's the entry sound?
Right now.
Right.
Sorry, I'm just going to go up there and then. Come on, slow. Oh no, come on. I'm just going up one folder on my computer and it's taking 15 seconds. Right. Okay. Kraton 6. Yes. Kraton. Now, Kraton is this one, isn't he?
Yes, that's Kraton. And so you put him in Rhodan, but that's okay.
Oh, didn't I? I thought Rhodan is... and Kraton was that one.
Oh, all right.
Oh, no, but anyway, I think there's a... Oh, that one.
Yes, that was
Yeah.
Rhodan.
That's Rhodan. I always forget. I was thinking he's more of a Dread character. So anyway, meanwhile, after all the sound effects... Jess.
Kraton, I just spoke to Tahnak. Will you please speak to me about what happened on 6/6/2016?
No. You have no right coming at me at this time. You were in allegiance with him.
He had an aspect of me, but I do not agree or ally with any of this.
Why would you give him protection to harm the planet and then you complain that things are not going well?
He took an aspect of me a long time ago. We're talking about Zamfir. He could tag me along, but if you search, you'll discover that I wasn't aware of his greater plan or the extent of my entanglement.
I see. I feel your truth. I regained my power and foundations entirely. The agreement for protecting the planet and pulling Zamfir from the core of power allows me now to rule Earth.
Will you rule with a mighty hand, or an iron of iron, or with an open hand of love?
Both, according to what is needed until I can see that there is once again order. We must be prepared to greater problems ahead. Shiva is not happy, and I will not be subjected to his upheavals if anyone else chooses to rebel me or him in the future.
I understand and agree, and we can't have any more of this. What can I do to help?
I need to fix the foundations between Zoroaster, Ahura Mazda, and now Zamfir. I can hardly keep up with the damage they inflicted upon the foundations. Zoroaster rebelled and sent ripples into the quantum field. Ahura Mazda deconstructed the foundations to force our power to collapse. And now Zamfir created a toxic tonic of rebellion that was as a contagion upon all species, including humankind. It is a treacherous hold upon me that I am shaking it to the very core until all the apples fall to the ground. You, minute as you are, seem to get in a lot of trouble. Can't you stray from these happenings without getting caught in the fire all the time? They reel you in and then leave you to take the blame.
Well, how was I involved with Ahura Mazda and Zoroaster?
You weren't. That's why Primus is here. If he was wondering why he was entangled in all of this mess, then he should consider that he has helped his father Ahura and his brother Zoroaster throughout the ages. Yes, Primus, you too are part of this. Who, me? Yes, you. Sorry. It's hard to, yeah. You gotta understand.
It's like talking to yourself.
Yeah. I was speaking for this other part of myself who seems to be involved in other things. So I know what this feels like. Meanwhile, back in character. You both trudge through the drama and why you are here, and others are living more a pleasant experience. You both have to untangle this thorn-covered web. Fortunately for the both of you, some of it is already past and uprooted. Let's try to do this in a mighty wave of harmonious thunder, without deconstructing the earth any further, shall we?
I agree.
Tell me, another lifetime, do you know who I am?
You were a mighty Persian king who lived and had a short reign because you left. You were mysterious but powerful. You came up against Alexander the Great. You allowed him to win and gave him your kingdom, and then gave him the curse of his own sorrows. He died young because of your curse.
Yes, he was very mighty, but I can bring any of them down to remind them that pride brings sorrow. You may win one day, but always the balance of things requires a repayment for this request. I show up numerous times throughout the human history, not always recorded nor noted by the historians. Some were too frightened to speak about me. I arrive when rebellion is on the planet. Only this time is very different. It is not the humans who cause this problem, it is the others. You know, in many ways, though intimidating, I am your friend. I can see through it all. Go now, both of you, and stay clear of the trouble. I will not be very far behind you. Wow. Yeah. Primus. He points the finger. And remember, who had the finger with the laser in it? Ah, that was so cool. Zamfir has a finger that has a laser. I always thought I had fingers with lasers in them.
Did you really?
Well, and I have this strange, all right, let me just expose one of my strange habits. All right. Ever since I was a tiny child, whenever I saw a gap, I would measure my, the aspect, the cross section of my fingers. All right. Is a particular shape of rectangle. Imagine a slot that you could comfortably fit your fingers into, like a handle, you know, in a chest of drawers or something that you can it's just the perfect size to put your fingers into. I'm always doing that. And it's not just it's the shape of it. It's not the actual size of it. So if it's the same size, if it's bigger than that, then it's the same proportion. And this is what my mind does all the time. It's like, it looks at rectangles and sees, is that a finger-shaped rectangle? Is that a thumb-shaped rectangle? Is that forefinger? Is that a handshake? It's crazy. It's like some sort of background. I wonder if it's a program. Any experts on programming know what that might be? Yeah, maybe it's a program.
Because I've been doing that too. I know what you're talking about. It's sort of, maybe there was some kind of gadget or something that you had in a previous experience, and it just feels like it's missing.
Oh.
It's not there.
Mm. Wow.
The laser finger.
Laser finger. No, wrong one. Shut up. That bell, that Tibetan bowl goes on for a long time. That's like a 50.
I want to move along because I may have another person that I wanted to bring in.
Oh, right. Okay. It's getting crowded in here.
Towards the end, yeah.
Right. Who next?
We have Meetis next.
Who next? Meetis. Good old Meetis. Res. Meetis is...
Did you have a song for him? There I saw Meetis on Maldek, weeping by the vision he saw on the foundations of the earth between Zamfir and Kraton. Why are you weeping, Meetis? Because of the battle?
I'm him, and he is me.
Who, Meetis? You are like who?
I am him, and he is me, Zamfir. I can see everything happen and feel my very core cut asunder. I will get him back. I will change everything and destroy his kingdoms. I will destroy his sacred place of Maldek. It is gone. Go now, Pleiades, destroy as you will. Next will be Lyra, and then will be Mars. Now show me how you feel, mighty wall of black.
Stop, Meetis. I live on Mars at that time. It is me, and I'm not your enemy. Primus lives on Lyra. Don't hurt us while we're here to help you out.
I will not heed your words. You have betrayed me. All of you have betrayed me. None did weep at my termination. None did seek me out afterwards. I am undone and live no more because of you, because of all of you. You ask me over and over again why I'm so bitter. I am a recluse, loved by none. You gave me temporary relief in a fleeting moment. That hardly prevails amongst the grotesque beasts picking at my carcass. I am alone, having nothing but a shallow, bitter end.
You return to your father, if you and Zamfir are one. You return to Shiva. He heals you.
No, a remnant of me remains on the bitter floor. I'm undone and unattended to. Both you and I were taken by Zamfir long ago. Kraton rescued you, Shiva rescued him. I am left alone with no one to help me. I cease to exist.
Then I beheld the explosion of Maldek in a mighty storm of rubble and of fire, pointing out in projectiles of flames in all directions. Meetis sat in the flames, unaffected by it, as if it was happening. As if it wasn't happening, his eyes were red like Zamfir's. Who are you, Meetis? What are you? Everyone loves you, your witty, quick sarcasm, your songs, your rhymes. But who are you? Maybe we can help. Then another attack on Lyra took place, but I saw the Triton waved his mighty Triton, and a wave of water, so high and grand, blocked the attacks and saved Lyra. Stop, please, stop.
I see you. I see you with your husband Mars in your festivities on this planet. It was me who angered Phaeton to return to Mars and distract you while the attack took place. None of you were ready for it. You cannot turn back the time for Mars. I promise I won't allow it.
Meetis then stood up and waved his right arm as the military general gives the final signal for a full-on attack. I could see Mars waiting this time, undistracted by the woman and the people from the Pleiades. He was alert, awaiting the attack, and held up both arms and protected as much as he could. The attack came and destroyed some of the city, but Mars held strong and used a type of magnetism to diffuse the launched weaponry of violent flames of destruction. Then Mars attacked back with the mighty force of electromagnetic waves of force that broke the Pleiades vessel until it faltered and crashed upon the flames of Maldek. The other vessels escaped through a wormhole, bringing them very far into the future. The city of Cydonia was saved but sent to another undisclosed location. The remnants of the city remain as a destroyed city to cause the Pleiades to believe that they had defeated Mars. Phaeton was sent back in confusion, not remembering what happened. Mars hid for many years, doing sundry things through the galaxy, appearing and disappearing through time and space when it suited him. The Pleiadians began to return from the future to gain control of the planet and galaxy. They are bitter and talking as they will keep control of things, not quite their own. This occurs from the imbalance. Some are now here for the good, some are not here for any other purpose but for vengeance.
You win again.
I've won nothing, but informed Mars and Triton about the impending problems of the past. I can help you as well. Both Primus and I would like to help you if you promise to stop doing harm to the innocent.
None are innocent. None are innocent. You don't remember how you mistreated one another. All of you are a misfit of reckless, self-indulgent beings living off the pleasures of the planets. Don't rewrite history without displaying the truth from both sides.
I'm not saying anyone was pure, but destruction of 3 societies is hardly commendable, Meetis. And then I observed Meetis seated amongst the flames, and then his eyes turned from red to green. His body became green in tone, much like the way he looked when I first met him as the Lizard King. Although, at this moment, I saw him as a chameleon, the way he could turn back into the surroundings, as a landscape of fire turned into greenery. God, this became confusing. Now he appeared to be on Andronicus's green planet.
Yes, I took it from him, the green planet. I also destroyed your innocent.
You were the serpent.
Yes. Shall we go further?
Oh, Meetis, do we have to dig this story up now? Tell me, you were one of Shiva's serpents? Not really, Zamfir.
I am a sacred being. We all have purpose, and we all should be served well and respected. What respect have you given me?
Oh, very little, because of the way you speak to me.
It is my job to get you to remember Zamfir would join himself to me. I am not literally a viper. I have other forms. I am neither good nor evil. None of that exists. It is in the fear of humankind that has created such labels. We are all fierce and warrior-like when we need to be. Our father Shiva gave us many aspects like himself.
Would you like me to rescue you from chaos when you drop from Zamfir?
You must draw me out from him before it happens. Can I trust you to do that? Otherwise I cease to exist. I do have a purpose, a good purpose that many don't realize. I will always be mischief, that is part of my name, if you understand what I am saying. I will always be around. The difference is that my anger will not be quelled if I am left in this status. Our enmity will never end if you do not remedy this problem, lovely flower.
Why should I believe you, Why should I believe you, master of deceit, lies, malice, and mischief?
Because you see the goodness in me too. I was a brilliant light of form and glory, so lovely to behold and doted upon by many. My mischief and anger got me in a deep quandary of sorrow. Sometimes we don't realize how deep a well we dig until the hole is absent of all light. Please, lift me from my sorrows. Pull me from Zamfir before I am burned to black ash and death above deaths.
I can't see this from my vista. I can't see from this vista.
I will take you there.
This is how I get hurt. You're tricking me.
No, wait. I can prevent you from getting hurt as well. You too will suffer in time. The auric field will go down into the marrow of time. Nothing can cure the wrath of Kraton's destruction. He has a rare power. Only Shiva, but he now attends only Zamfir, who suffered the worst of the injuries. It was bound to happen. Zamfir would not regard anyone. Rhodan gave up on him a long time ago.
Okay, since I know you were speaking the truth about my injury, go on and take me there. I observed a mass of yellow powder surrounding me like a cloud of sulfur. Then I sunk deep, very deep into a hole, or possibly a wormhole of time. I looked down, and I was in a carpet, like a floating carpet, like a djinn, floating through a circular tube of smoke, and yet floating gently with a subtle breeze. Meetis was coiled as a snake beside me, to my left. I wore a tunic and a turban. I think he dressed me like Zamfir for safety reasons, and in the event the others might see me flying through. We traveled through the mighty waters that split and created waves on either side. The waters became still like glass, and I can get off of the carpet and walk in the waters that looked like a floor. There was a gate before us, and I passed through the gate. Then I looked like myself, but with red hair. And when I turned around, Meetis looked like Zamfir. There's so much that I was startled. As we walked, the ground had a flowing, majestic white mist, as if we were standing on a cloud.
We are on the threshold now. Look down and pull the both of us up. You must do it. They will know if it is me if I attempt it. I've tried many times before, but on each occasion I am hit by an arrow from Hanuman.
Well, how do you know that I won't get hit by Hanuman as well? Are you serious? You're totally setting me up.
Stop, look. Something is different. Hanuman is not there. His station is empty. There.
Then I looked and I saw the levels of structures leading down. The top level below, the threshold of Hanuman's watch. He was gone, just as Meetis had said. Then I searched for any other who might be covering the space.
I know. He's busy helping Rama and Sita. It is an ideal time for us to do this. I should have thought about this sooner.
So then you do it. I don't know what to do.
Here, just get my attention and we will both lift each other.
Okay. I can't see anything.
We will have to do it quickly. Ready? I will part the clouds and you will see Zamfir raised from the Earth's core. Do it rapidly before he strikes Kraton. It must be done before he strikes Kraton because that's the point where we both get locked into him.
Okay. 1, 2, 3. Then the clouds opened up, and we could see Zamfir's white turban facing the cloud upward. I could see myself hiding behind him. Meetis was coiled around his neck. Meetis then reached down and tugged on my dress. My aspect quickly grabbed his hand, while I outstretched my hand to the serpent who jumped to me and coiled around my arm. We both pulled each other up and out and closed the cloud that suspended in time. Our aspects merged into ourselves. We were once again whole and free of the injury. We waited and then observed Zamfir, who gazed up at us as if he was lifted by Shiva. His injuries were not as severe either. Then I saw Shiva look up at me in a peaceful way, and Meetis was gone. The vision was gone, and an unusual light came into the room. Shiva said, "You are the volcano, no more." Meetis.
So, that was interesting. Heck, what went on there? So you kind of slipped in dancing between the raindrops there. And
yeah.
You went back in time, with Meetis and rescued, this is like one of these science fiction shows, like a series where the characters never die because they're actors, right? And terrible things happen to the actors, and then like the next week they're all there again, the same guy in the red shirt,
Mm-hmm.
But that was quite what was your experience of that? I mean, you're talking about, the whole thing is like, now, I'm just trying to get the sequence.
It's unusual. I know.
They're all interconnected. They're really entangled this week, aren't they? They're all about each other. It's all about the same thing. And all about, yes, indeed, it's the Maldek attack.
Yeah,
we knew there was someone behind it. We knew that there was somebody manipulating this, and it was Meetis all along. Bugger.
Doesn't that make sense?
Does make total sense.
Because that's where he opened up. When I tell people, they say, well, how do you know where to go, or do you actually see what's going on? And first thing I do is, there's Meetis and what's going on around him. And he was on Maldek. And then all of this stuff transpired. And then he started talking about how he was behind the Pleiadians, and he was calling them the Pleiades. And how he conspired this whole thing because he knew that he gets destroyed, or at least a part of him can never be retrieved because of this incident, and even worse, that no one goes and looks for him to try to help him.
Now,
so
is he in the same level as Gaia? And if the planet is destroyed, then you're like a ghost.
No, he's like a sacred being, like some of the, you see the images of Shiva there, there's usually a serpent wrapped around his neck. It's like a cobra. There's other creatures, like I think there's a sacred cow, you could probably go on but who Hanuman is
he's the sacred monkey.
Like monkey, yeah. So, each one of them were, from a divine place. And so what Meetis was saying is he didn't get respect. He was of this form and was created and carried a lot of light and had purpose. And here he was, cast off like he was nothing. And so he was, even more so, like, well, why are you cared for? Why was Zamfir cared for? And why wasn't I cared for? And so he kind of demanded that this got corrected. And so that was part of the whole process of correcting the problem. So then he took me, I said, I don't know how to get there. And he said, well, just follow me. And then that's how it all opened up. He actually had me, I was looking at my outfit and I'm saying, wow, it's kind of an odd outfit. And then I realized that he had me disguised as Zamfir to go through the portal. It must be a very ancient portal. Of course, it's etheric, and I'm doing this, I don't know, not literally, physically, but I'm observing myself, and I'm having clarity about where I'm going. And then we ended up, and I had no idea how the process was going to work, but you could see that it required the both of us to help each other at that moment in the end, where he pulls me up and I pull him up. And it would have been much harder to pull up both by yourself. So he had tried it before and couldn't do it, and so asked me to help him out. But as a result, he helped me out.
It needed love, actually, didn't it? That's what gets you out. And the love that comes diametrically through all the people who are listening. Yeah. That's a morphological field that can affect things. And, we get more and more powerful healings. I was just listening, like every show that you're doing is actually some kind of healing.
Yeah.
So I think this is why it's so important. But the whole Pleiadian destruction of Maldek, there it all is in that one Meetis transmission. Study this well, people. Mm-hmm. Wow.
Yeah, I had no idea it was going in that direction, and then it just kind of opened up, and then it made sense why I have been seeing Mars for a while, and he's very stealth-like. Yeah, but I almost did a transmission with him, and then it stopped. So he's not ready to come through.
Still, well, but, there's a sequence of things that need to happen. We need to keep the sequence natural. We don't. It'll all fall into place. Is the feeling that I'm getting.
And he also talks. I know Simon Parks talks about the different gardens of Eden. Well, it turns out that green planet was like a Garden of Eden. It was like at least one of them.
All right. So this is the contested Andronicus green planet that would have, if Andronicus would have been just a little bit more generous and realized that he could easily start again and be less attached to his stuff, then that would have created peace between him and Zamfir.
Yeah, and now we're going to talk about what happened with Andronicus, because see, the planet, he ends up having the planet. Remember, he gets an aspect of me, and then Meetis shows up, and he says, I took your innocence. So whether this is symbolic or figurative or however it worked, but he, there's multiple experiences like that. That was one of them. So that green planet was contested at first, or, they fought over it a bit. But, in the end, I see Meetis going there. And I'm like, okay, so sort of Meetis kind of took over. So we're gonna go to Andronicus next. And, Andronicus 49.
Yes.
I see what happens to the green planet and why Zamfir wanted it.
It was intended to be an age of innocence. I didn't know any other way to fix it, to remedy what I had done.
Why did you think you were the cause of it? Clearly Zamfir, Meetis, and even myself had to remedy our problems.
There is more. I was asked to fix it all, and instead you and others had to do it. I feel like a failure. Rhodan lost faith in me. He didn't want to take the chance of sending me back in time. He was confident that something worse would occur. And I'm heavy-hearted over it, and so many had suffered.
I don't know what you're saying. Maybe this was supposed to be this way. It seemed right to me.
It changes everything. That's why Meetis calls me the blunder. I'm the blunder in all of this. I'm the one who created the mess.
I don't see it. Maybe you know something I don't.
Yes, I do, and for now it is between me and Rhodan. Even Zamfir didn't know about it, but was suspicious when I returned. Let's start again. Even Zamfir didn't know about it, but was suspicious when I requested to return to Neptune.
What did you want to do?
Nothing for now. I must contemplate where I fit in, what my purpose is. I was to be heroic in my efforts. Now Meetis appears as the hero. How disappointing. Maybe I should play the fool and sing a song.
Maybe you should listen and see how hard you are on yourself. None of this would have happened without you.
I still want to go back there. I can even make all I can even make all of this better. I guess for now I should let it go.
At least you still have the green planet.
No, Rhodan took it from me because of what happened. You know, Meetis, serpent.
Any other ideas?
Yes, I've been given another sector. The Slitarans have been ruling the planet and they need a bit of leadership. I have a crew with me and they need a chance to evolve and integrate a bit more than they have. Some of the Pleiadians and Lyrans are curious to join me.
It sounds a little bit like Sector 438.
Yeah. Home sweet home. Maybe my old friends will join me. I don't know where many of them are now. Many of them are now sleepers living amongst the humans. I have a new crew.
What happened to Borkum?
Borkum. He did bring you much laughter. I hope he joins me. I heard he is tired of the politics on Emogene. I could entice him with a new adventure, possibly. I would also like the Lucido to join me again. They were interesting and creative.
Can we come to visit you?
If Rhodan allows you to visit, he may open the gateway for our realities to cross. One never knows now that the greater of the problems are being addressed.
I hope so. Many who listen might enjoy that experience.
Much peace to you for helping my mind be at ease. Go on now and attend to your work. I must till the new planet and search for plants. Food first, then relaxation. Take my advice. Build and grow your own food. Build your own lifestyle and homes that work with the elements. This will be your harmony. Much fortuitous wishes upon you. Many brilliant, shining adventures to all of you. Wow, what a change in mood. Man, that was really weird. I tell you, it's as soon as you mentioned Borkum, I mean, he was like, I could feel it's just the hopelessness, devastation. Oh, everything's terrible for all eternity now. And then, Borkum. Oh yeah, my old friend. And it's like his whole mood changed and, yeah, I mean, I think, you know, just your communication with him changes. Counselor to the demigods.
I know.
Very good.
So, yeah, he was like, I got the impression that, Rhodan had planned a long time ago that he was going to be the one that resolves this whole thing between Zamfir and, Shiva and, of course, Kraton and Meetis, you know, but he wanted to be the one that kind of rescues and resolves anything, and maybe that was part of his being a journeyman. He was kind of on that track to try to gather information and do that. And Neptune threw everything off. So, and there seems to be more information too that he didn't want to tell me about.
Yeah, well, it's Zamfir's Playboy planet, right? And
yes.
everybody had a pop. Mm-hmm. Everybody took a bit of you know, it was a sweetie hanging in space saying, "Ooh, look at me, look at these girls, oh, ladies. And, you know, then we see what happened with all those ladies who turned inside out into evil, nasty things." God.
I had a quick request from Patty Brizard if she wanted to come on. I know we only have a few minutes left, but she wanted to talk about the Red Dragon family. I don't know. Do you know anything about that?
Ah, the dragons. Well, it's in, and again, so much in this transmission about really interesting stuff that interests lots of people, and the dragons as well.
You have Patty's contact?
Yes. Well, I've got one of them. Let's see. Let's try this one.
Okay.
That seems to be her current one. And I don't know if Patty, you're listening in. Turn off your radio.
Yeah, and I told her I would bring her in on the last section of the show.
So they're talking in the chat rooms. What did Sonny was saying?
Hang on.
Hey, Patty.
Yeah. Hey.
How are you doing?
I'm getting some major right now on Facebook because of that report I put out.
Okay. Well, Patty, just give us a quick overview. You said something about, you said that early on in the 1960s, the hippies were drawn in by thinking that they were together, but there was an agenda there behind it. And then that's reoccurring right now.
The whole thing with, giving them the LSD and everything and finding out how they could become ethereal warriors, that is the start of the MJ-12 project. That's how that started. They even did a spoof movie about it. I Stare at Goat.
Men Who Stare at Goats. So you're talking about the one, the Earth Force.
That was the MJ-12 start.
MJ-12?
Yeah.
So this is the beginning of, did you ever come across a group called The Shop? A psychic group called The Shop?
Yeah, they've got a bunch of,
there's like the aviary and all these different things.
For those that don't know some of this stuff, so the Red Dragon group is doing something in Sweden, right? It's coming up, Patty, you were telling me?
They're calling all these eco, folks together that have solutions. And they're setting up a FEMA type camp there and bringing in martial arts instructors and stuff. Why do these people all of a sudden need to learn martial arts and stuff if this whole thing is about funding them for, to do their eco solutions? Why?
And when is this going to take place? So if people that were planning on going.
On the 24th.
And what was the location? Was it in Netherlands, you said, or?
Sweden.
Sweden. Okay.
Gee, isn't it also kind of funny that they got the whole all these cabals also gathering up there this week?
Yeah, I was just going to say the Netherlands is Max was talking about the Netherlands has an underground cabal there, and there were also cannibals. It was just some really bizarre stuff they were talking about last night.
I think those who don't go along with the new program are going to become food.
All right, so who are the Red Dragon people? Because this was new information for me, and it's probably old information for a lot of people. But
the Red Dragon are the Yakuza edition or spur of the family line of the Tudor Group.
Okay. In their agenda?
They have, like I said, that's along with the Christian group, the Tudor Group, Christian, the Vatican and all that. They're Draco aligned. Now, the Red Dragon group are Anunnaki aligned. As a matter of fact, they don't like what the whole Jacob, what's his face there? Is doing, because he's got his own game plan.
Rothschild.
The whole Illuminati.
Jacob Rothschild?
Yeah, Rothschild. I mean, the Red Dragon just put a multi-ton gold hit offer out on Jacob.
Oh yeah, but apparently Jacob came to see them, and they've cancelled the hit because
that's a shame.
Right. Yeah. I know. It's like, why don't they just let him? But anyway, you can't kill. But anyway, you can't kill something like this because he's not a thing, is he? He's not a person.
It's our advantage to keep all these folks working against each other, really. So I don't.
So interesting that we're we were talking about, in a different way. We were talking about dragons. Rhodan talked about dragons, right? Today. We were talking about,
yes. And that they aligned, that certain clans aligned themselves with certain dragons, and the dragons were supposed to be impartial. And they weren't. They became partial, and this also came part of the problem.
What you need to understand is the Yakuza edition, the Red Dragon group, is behind all the crap that's going down at Fukushima. That whole mess is being run by the Yakuza. So
why are they poisoning the whole world?
Agenda 21, and everybody in the United Nations agreed to that. Kill off 80% of the currently living humans. Everybody in the United Nations signed on board with that.
Well,
this is established fact.
That's a disturbing reality if that's the case. I mean, I'm sure anyone listening to the show will be like, wow. Yeah, I understand.
It's a public record.
Oh yeah, but here's the thing.
Do you have that information that you can?
People just ignore this. This is on record.
Do you have a website for people?
It's in the National Archives already.
Yeah. We're aware. I mean, these are all UN directives that were made in the 60s and 70s and 50s.
And they were passed recently, in 2012.
Yeah. And
Pat, do you have a website where people can look at some of your information?
Well, Facebook, Patty L. Broussard on Facebook, or Amanda Brackett on Facebook. They're deleting stuff off of me regularly. They've hijacked my Amanda Brackett account, so I can't get in, and they're gradually just wiping everything off of it.
We were also recently talking about, you have, I don't know if you're open to talk about this, but a time slip incident where there's some really weird stuff going on, where you've had people have claimed to have conversation with you and you weren't there.
Right. It registered that the call started and stopped on my laptop at the same time, cause I wasn't even home. But another person made a call in on that call that lasted, for a little over 45 minutes, but the timestamp on it is an hour and 45 minutes. So even that isn't right. Where they had a conversation with another edition of me that wasn't on this timeline.
Did you have a computer or, somehow you were able to access?
Yeah, we have the screen captures of it all. Because we didn't even know this went down until I got into a small, friendly argument over, it's like, you did not have a conversation with me because I wasn't here. And she went and gave me her screen capture, and I went to mine, showed her mine, and when we start comparing this on the two machines, it's like, it wasn't me.
Oh, did she talk to you?
I don't know who, it was
the same
an
voice, and I think she even had did she have video of you too, or just?
We have video of the original person who I was having the conversation with, and the new clone that they've issued, and they're not the same person.
Of you?
No, of the person who I was
this other
supposedly
person
talking to. Has been replaced.
Yeah, so this is just this week has been the weirdest week I think that I've experienced, and if you listen to the transmission, Patty, it all started. This is the week that had this 6/6/2016. The one character that I usually transmit his information is named Kraton, and it was Kraton's 6th transmission. And so we're looking at, there was some really weird things that happened in the transmissions, and people just a lot of odd things, and I was hyper concerned about JP because I couldn't get in touch with JP this morning.
Oh yeah, because we're actually running, because I woke up about 3/4 of the way into the first hour of the show. I don't know why I've slept so long. Maybe I've been out on a mission. I don't know. But they slam you out and take you out, whatever's going on. So, but here I am, and, but we're running an hour late. We're actually kind of beyond the second hour now, I think. So.
Yep. But so we got the information out, and that's the end of the show. But Patty, is there any last statement or anything that you want to say?
I don't see why, for funding issues, any of these groups all have to get together one place, which puts them at risk, no matter which way you look at it.
Yeah, that's how they take down planes and stuff like that when they're important people all go into a meeting like that, right?
In an area that's held by the cabals.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Being held by the cabals. I think that's that sums it up. Being held very tightly by the cabal. Thank you very much, Patty. I think we're going to need to chip out here, but thanks everybody for being so patient today.
And the funny one thing I got to say,
all right, last thing.
It's not Louisa's fault. She's under attack now because of what I posted.
Louisa?
Yeah.
Louisa who does the goldfish report. She's
report.
Separated from those group because of the crap they were doing, and as I understand, the Global Mission of Peace folks are under indictment at this point for fraud and all kinds of other stuff.
Wow.
That's not the goldfish report. That's why she's separated from them, because of what they were doing.
All right. So she's a good girl. Does she need a home?
She needs a hug, and people need to leave her alone.
Mm-hmm. No, what I'm saying, does she need a home? Does she need a radio space?
No, she does. The goldfish report is hers.
All right, so she's got her own station. All right, okay, good.
But she does her own goldfish report. That's fully funded by her. Everybody's saying the goldfish report has something to do with fraud and money and everything. Guess what? She pays for her own.
Does she want to, is it a podcast? Because, James Rink has put his podcast on Wolf Spirit Radio. I think that's what JP's asking. Does she want to put her podcast on? I think JP, correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah. I mean, I have a couple of slots that I can use that I can put some content on. Podcasts are great.
Today, the only shows she does and puts out there as the Goldfish Report are with her, the ambassador, and guests.
Okay, so who's the ambassador?
That's the format.
Can you fill me in a little bit?
He's the representative of the Red Dragon Group, who is supposed to be, all the funds that were stolen by whoever, they're supposed to be going to, the eco groups who have solutions for the messed up job that all these cabals have done to our planet. That is what that is all about. So how this ended up, them all going up to a cabal area where they're basically building a FEMA camp and planning to train them in martial arts and everything else. Wait a minute. This is the same thing they did with MJ-12.
Yeah.
It's the same program.
So, we should continue on with these conversations, but,
I could do that. Let's finish the show. Yeah. Good idea. Let's finish the show, and then, sorry to interrupt, Jess, and then, I can do another thing if you like. So, I'll keep playing, keep recording. So anyway, here's the end of the show. Good night, everybody. Thank you, Jess.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Good night, Jess.